This podcast is not here to inspire you. It's here to make you think. You'll probably get uncomfortable, and that is the point. Because real growth starts when comfort ends. And if you want to lead, influence, or build anything with real sustainable impact, you can't afford to keep your head in the sand. I'm Elizabeth, your host, and this is What's Actually Happening. The truths behind human behavior, power, and leadership that you can't unsee once you hear them. Let's get into it. Would people still follow you if they didn't have to? If you were to strip away the familial role, the title, the paycheck, the borrowed power the org chart gives you, what's left? Are people still choosing to stand behind you? Because that, not your strategy, not your credentials, is your actual leadership. And whether you like it or not, we are all leaders of some domain, whether it's with ourselves, in our families, with our friends, or at work. I know we want leadership to be about how you make people feel, about being a good person, about integrity, about adding value. But those are character traits. They are not the mechanism of leadership. And when character gets mistaken for the whole picture, well-meaning people will get passed over time and time again, and toxic and compromised people get promoted. Because if being good were enough, unethical people wouldn't be holding power over systems, futures, and lives on a regular basis. And yet they do. Just look at the headlines. So let's name it. Leadership is not a vibe. It's not charisma. It's not 5 tips in a downloadable checklist. It's a set of internal capacities that most people never train because they're inconvenient, they're unscalable, and they cannot be faked. So what are they? We're going over 4 of them today, and we're starting with inner congruence. Now, inner congruence is when you think, feel, say, and do actually line up. Polished professionalism or even a bold or likable personality does not mean people will automatically follow you. People don't follow polish, they follow alignment. You cannot always see incongruence, but you will feel it when it is missing. It is the coach that says, I care so much about all my people, while simultaneously saying every client that has said no to them is defective. It's the company that says, we are like family here, but punishes you when you speak up or bring a problem to the surface. It is the leader who welcomes feedback until you give it. Or it's the partner that says, it's fine, when their tone is like dripping acid and their eyes are throwing daggers at you. If people don't feel you are right with yourself, they are not going to follow you, even if they agree with you on paper, even if they like you, because trust doesn't come from agreement. It comes from congruence. And our next capacity, that's conviction and self-trust. This is where your inner congruence gets tested. Congruence is knowing what is true for you, but conviction is what happens when that truth is inevitably challenged. When decisions stack, when your integrity is questioned, when you are accountable to others and not just yourself anymore. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People do not follow the most ethical voice in the room. And I say this as someone who is very ethics driven first. They follow the most certain one. Conviction will carry more weight than your credentials ever will. Almost anyone can earn a certificate, but very few can stay composed when the entire room is pushing back. And if you waver, someone else, often with weaker ethics, but a stronger delivery, will step in to fill that vacuum. Conviction is assurance without aggression. It is composure without collapse. It sounds like, I may not have all the answers, but I will find them, I will figure it out, and we will be fine. It shows up as steadiness. Your words, your tone, your presence, they all stay aligned without shrinking or oversharing. And when conviction is missing, it leaks quietly. You second guess halfway through a sentence, over apologize for taking up space, adjust your personality depending on who is in that room, and no one is going to confront you on that. There is no dramatic moment. They just stop orienting to you. Because if you won't back yourself, why should they? And that is how the wrong people rise, not because they are better, but because they are unwavering even when they shouldn't be. Real conviction is built in hard places, making clean strategic decisions when they won't all be loved by everyone. Owning your outcomes, staying aligned when no one is clapping for you on your journey. That's what people follow, not the performance, the certainty. And here's why certainty works. When someone speaks from alignment with conviction, the nervous system of others relax unconsciously. If you are slightly unsure, the brain will fill the gap like this. If they're that certain and I am not, they must know something I don't. And that is the moment that reality testing starts to slip. You don't follow because they're right. You follow because certainty feels safer than ambiguity. It's the same mechanism, but very different outcomes. Moving on to number 3. Let's clear something up about this one. Most people will miss it and then blame and shame themselves when they do. This is about your window of tolerance. And what that actually is your capacity to stay grounded under pressure before you spiral, shut down, overfunction, or check out. Everyone has one. Some are wider, some collapse faster. All are trainable. And no, a wider window of tolerance does not mean you are tougher. It means your brain and body, aka your nervous system, can handle more stress before flipping into survival mode. Being inside your window doesn't mean you're calm or you're zen all the time. It means you are present. You still have access to clarity, nuance, and strategy. You're not just reacting, you are choosing, you are responding. And when you're outside that window of tolerance, you go on autopilot. That is when you're going to see things like over controlling, blowing up, smoothing things over that should not be smoothed over, overcompensating, and freezing. In that moment of stacked pressure, you lose access to your tools, the ones that you have worked so hard to achieve. It's like a kinked hose that no longer can produce water. You might sound confident, but your choices are coming from fear. They are not strategic, they are protective, and people will feel that. That is why capable people can suddenly seem irrational or checked out. They've hit their edge of their tolerance. And this is also why certainty is so powerful. When people are outside their window, they don't want nuance. They don't want to think more. They want orientation. And no, this is not about suppressing emotion. Stuffing it down or pushing through it is like overinflating a car tire and then driving on it. It works until it doesn't. And then it blows when you hit the right trigger. Real leadership means building the capacity to stay in your window when it matters most. So it's not that you just know what to do. You can do it when it actually counts. Moving on to our final capacity of this episode, friction, the good kind. Not manipulation, not coercion, intentional tension. The kind that disrupts avoidance and makes truth unavoidable. People don't change because they're inspired. If they did, every viral feel-good quote would inspire new movements, and they don't. Growth happens when the pain of staying the same outweighs the discomfort of the change. You are not piloting a bunch of potatoes. Leadership requires movement towards a shared goal. Your job is not to convince or to fix. It is to reveal the gap between what someone says they want and how they're actually behaving, and then holding enough safety and space for them to face that without collapsing or deflecting. And that part can sound like, what part of this are you responsible for? If impact matters so much to you, why are you hiding your offer? If you want trust and growth, why are you avoiding feedback? Without friction, you stay surface level. You get the polite nods, not the transformations. And no one remembers you. Stick a hose in a pool and nothing moves. Add pressure and the water flows. People are the same. And when you zoom out, these are not soft skills. You don't get them by wishing on a pillow or repeating affirmations in the mirror, as nice as that would be. They're the difference between influence and authority. And that is going to wrap up our 4 leadership traits, rarely talked about, yet largely responsible for whether someone is actually a leader or not. So back to the question at hand. Would people still follow you if they didn't have to? Because leadership without the title, the paycheck, or the spotlight, that is where the work begins. And the people who can lead from that place, they don't just change teams, they change cultures, they change relationships, they change people. And I will leave you with that. And that's a wrap. See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Uncomfortable? Sure. But necessary, because change doesn't happen from hopes and wishes, as nice as that would be. Come back for more truths you didn't want to hear, but we'll definitely think about later, because this is what's actually happening. I'll see you on the next one.